Hi there, welcome to Perfect Glamour Fashion. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this tulle and Ankara two piece. Alright, let's get started. The first thing I would advise is that you use up to 3 yards and above in order to achieve the fullness you want, okay? So to get my A-line, I held one part of the tulle to form a triangle, and when I form the triangle, I fold it again to form my 4 folds, like to form another triangle. You understand? Just the normal way you do your A-line. It's just a normal A-line gown, just that you are making it with a tulle net. You get? So you divide your shoulder by 2, and then you add half inch. My shoulder is 7.5, so I added half inch, making it 8 inches. So I will mark the parts where the tulle can accommodate 8 inches on my tape is where I will mark as my start line. You understand that? So wherever I will accommodate the 8 inches, I'll mark it as my start line. Next thing is the neck. I'm doing 3.5 for the width, 3.5 for the width, and I'm doing 4 for the neck depth. Okay, so this is for the front. I'm marking 3.5 by 4. I also came down by 1 inch depth for the back because I'm marking both the front and the back together. Next thing, I will divide my shoulder divided by 2 plus half inch, that is 8, and I'll mark, and then I'll come down by 1 inch to form the shoulder slope, just the normal way you form a shoulder slope here. Then I'll come down and mark my armhole depth. When I've done that, I'm going to also go down a bit and mark that 8 inches just to be able to draw a straight line. You get that? And then I divided my armhole by 2 and connected. I just always make sure that that angle over there is 1 inch. Okay, that helps me to be very accurate with my armhole. Okay, the next thing is to divide the bust by 4. Normal way we do our A-line. Divide the bust by 4, mark, and then I'm going to add 3 inches. I would have used 3 inches, but I used 2.5 because my 2 was not enough. So just use more than 2.5. Okay, I used 2.5 for this. Use more than that so that you will not struggle the way I was struggling with this dress. So the next thing will be to determine the length of the tulle. Okay, remember we're going to be attaching Ankara to it. So the full length of your gown, your full length minus the desired length of the Ankara you want to use. You understand? So if you minus it, whatever it gives you, for me it gave me 42. I want to use 16 inches of Ankara. When I minus it from 58, it gave me 42. So the length of the tulle is going to be 42. So I've marked that, and I'm just applying the chalk so that I'll know where I marked. I hope that was clear. Okay, tell me in the comment section if that was clear. Okay, all right, so I'm cutting out, and I'm done cutting out the down part. I'm going to cut out the upper parts. Okay, when I cut the upper parts, I added half inch to the sleeve, to the, what is it called now, the shoulder line. Okay, with that half inch, I'm going to do the joining. That's going to be my sewing allowance. So always add that. Once you are cutting on fabric, you're not cutting with, once you're not cutting with pattern, always add your sewing allowance to your neck line. Okay, all right, so this is me cutting out what is left. I just ruled out a straight line by the side so that I'll cut something really straight because of how small my fabric was, you understand? So cut out something really straight and all of that. So the next thing now is to separate. You know, I cut it together. This is both front and back. So I'm separating the front from the back. Okay, I'm separating the width from the how do we say it again? All right, so when you've separated the both of them, I would so I'll come down at the middle point by 5 inches, just to give me that, you know, cut that I can fix up my button or my clip to. Understand that? Okay, so this to aid when I'm putting it on, because it won't have a zip. It should just have this deep cut. Okay, and then I'll put in my button and all of that. So I'm going to recut. You know, we only cut out the neck depth for the back, so now this is the front. So following my mark, my chalk, I'm going to recut the neck depth for the front now. So now I have my front, I have my back, and it's time to cut the Ankara part. In order to fold this Ankara part, what you have to do is to get your tool, the down part of your tool now, okay? You will measure what you have there. Whatever length you have there, you will measure it and then add 3 inches to it. You're adding this because you know it's an A line. It's A line. So wherever it stops, you're going to need to, you know, slant it out a bit. So wherever what you measure now, you're going to add 3 to 4 inches to it, depending on how much slanted you want the down part of your A line to be. So this is me adjusting my Ankara to fit into what I've measured. Now watch this place very carefully, okay? Now when you've measured that, I'm also going to measure at the length of the Ankara, okay? You know I said I'm going to use 16, but then you're going to add 3 or 4 inches to the length, okay? You're going to add either 3 or 4 inches to the length. Use the extra inches when we are joining the two to the length. You understand? You're going to see me use it now. All right, so I've cut it out, but you're going to cut it in 2 places, for the front and then for the back also. So you're going to cut it in 2 different places. You're going to cut the same thing for the front and the back, because the front and the back is almost the same thing. The only difference is that it's just the neck depth. Okay, so now that we're going to cut it, and then when we're done, we'll do the next thing. Okay, now we're done with the cutting. The next thing you want to do is to notch. The center parts, and then you're going to bring your tool, fold it back. Okay, I know tool can be very difficult to work with. Actually, this is me looking for where the center of the tool is. Okay, so but what will help you is notching. So always notch, so it will be easier for you to recognize where the center is. All right, so when you fold it into 2 this way, you will place it, and the way you are placing it, you know, if you notice, you see that it's not straight. That cut down there is not straight. It's kind of curvy because it's a flay. Okay, so in order to make sure that your Ankara sits well, you are going to also follow the trace of that curve. You understand? Find where the side touches the Ankara and then mark the curve that way. Just watch carefully how I'm doing it, okay? So that your Ankara will be able to sit with your curve, okay? Now the next thing I'm going to do is to chalk out the curve, okay? I'm going to chalk it out, and then you're going to measure. You're going to measure from the point where the chalk is. Now this forms your new start line for the down part, okay? Now from the point where the chalk is, you're going to measure and make sure, you're going to cross check and make sure that it corresponds with what you had in mind to leave for the Ankara. For me, it's 16 inches, okay? So by the time you measure the center part, it should be that 16 inches, and then you're also going to come to the side and also measure that exact inches, that 16 inches. You're also going to measure it at the side. If you measure it at the side, you will notice that the side is longer than the center, so you will now connect it back to the center. By the time you are done doing all this, you'll see that you form the curve. The base of your Ankara will also be curved, okay? So by the time you are done sewing it, it will sit properly. So before you cut out these upper parts, add sewing allowance to it, okay? Now over to the sleeve. For the sleeve, we're going to do the same thing we did for the sleeve. It is the length of the sleeve minus the desired length of Ankara, which for me is 7. So the length of my sleeve is 23. When I remove 7, which I want to be the length of the Ankara, it will give me 16. So guys, at this point I realized that my video cut while I was still cutting this sleeve, so I'll walk you through what I did. Okay, so what you just have to do is to come down by 4.5 inches or 5 inches, depending on what you want. Then on that line, you're going to mark your armhole depth. Okay, my armhole depth is 8. I'm going to add 1.5 to it. That's making it 9.5. So you're going to mark 9.5 on that place you came down by 4.5 or 5. You're then going to form a diagonal line, and your sleeve is ready. Okay, we are done with our sleeve. The next thing is going to be to cut out the ankara that will be at the down part of the sleeve. Okay, so fold your ankara into 2 or into 4, depending on if you want to cut the 2 of them together. Then the next thing you're going to do is to mark the length. We're using 7, remember? So I've marked out my 7. The next thing I'm going to do is at the point where the net stopped. Okay, I'm going to mark it, but I'm going to add 1.5 inches in order to form the bell. You know, it's a bell sleeve. Okay, so I'm going to go up by 1/2 inch and then cut out. Okay, so now we are down to the business of sewing. Okay. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is to simply join the shoulders. It's very simple. Okay, just join the shoulders. And once you're done doing that, the next thing is going to, okay, I'm done joining the shoulders. Next thing is that I cut out a black material. You can use bias for this. You can use whatever you really want, actually. You can use bias for this. You can use a tape for this. Okay, so I'm going to tape around the neck region. Okay, now I formed my neck. I formed even the cut at the back already. I've also turned it with the little piece that I cut out. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to attach the ankara. Now we are down to business, you know. So I'm going to be attaching the ankara. First thing I'm going to do is to notch the center of my tool, get my ankara, and then I've already notched the center of the ankara when I was cutting it, and you're just going to match the center of your tool. Be careful to be sure that you are doing right facing right side, okay, so that you don't attach your tool and then discover that it's the back part of your clothes. All right, so right side facing right side. Okay, then I will attach it with a pin and then sew on the left and sew on the right. So I would literally just join the ankara to the tool. And next thing to do will be to top stitch. Okay, don't forget to top stitch so that your ankara will not be, you know, the tool is see-through. Okay, so top stitch so that your ankara will not be showing from the tool. Okay, all right, now that we're done doing that, the next thing we're going to do is to join the sides, join the 2 sides of this dress, and it's just left with the sleeve and we are done. Okay. If you've watched this video to this point, it shows that you like the video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, you're welcome. Thank you for watching this video to this point. I'm really grateful. Okay, just don't forget to subscribe. Yes, join the family. We have a lot of sewing tutorials on this channel, and we post every single week, so this is the place to be. All right, now we're done. The next thing we're going to do is to, just the way we attach the tool to the ankara, we join the tool and the ankara. That's exactly what you're going to be doing for the sleeve. Okay, so remember, you're just going to notch the center of the tool and notch the center of the ankara for the sleeve now. Okay, once you're done doing that, you just go ahead and, you know, place your ankara on your tool. Since the tool doesn't really have a right side and a wrong side, okay, you just place your ankara on the tool, and don't forget to top stitch. Always top stitch when you have you are mixing tool with any other thing. Okay, now we are done with our sleeve. The next thing we're just going to do is to attach this sleeve to the body of the dress. I'm so sorry, this part is blurry. My phone was really acting up the period I was filming this video. But I said, I must show my people this work. Nothing can stop me. Alright, so this is the finished look of the dress. And then for the inner part of the dress, okay, it's just your normal sleeveless tube gown. Okay, if you don't know how to do this, just leave me a comment in the comment section. I'm going to do a video to cover that also.